final score. England 1, United States 1. A lot to reflect upon there, Bill.
There surely is, and there's the table. You can see a point apiece for England and the United States, and Algeria and Slovenia play tomorrow at, I think, at 12 o'clock or sometime like that. Now, you got it all wrong. You said that you thought it'd be tight, and then you looked at the teams, and you said there's no way England wouldn't win.
I thought it would by 2 goals.
Yeah.
I can't believe England have played that badly. I mean, I'm not saying that America are a good team. I think they're workmanlike. You used the word journeyman. I think that's a fair description. If you're one of the big teams tonight, Spain, Brazil, looking at that, you're thinking you want to play England as soon as possible and get them out, because England were so disappointing tonight. They're playing against a team of ordinary players, and they were made to look ordinary. They played a type of football which you see as a football that's played by teams who are playing in a nervous fashion at the bottom of the Premier League. Teams that don't want to make mistakes by trying to make passes to get up the park. All they do is launch it to a big man and play off the scraps further up the park, so they're not making mistakes on the way to the attacking third. Yeah. And they were average in every department tonight.
Now, Trevor Stephen, our co-commentator who played for England, said this will be a performance, he said, which will be ridiculed tomorrow.
Well, the best way to measuring this performance is to look at the United States performance. This was a team of players who each knew what his job was. When they got the ball, possession ball, they passed the ball. They had a playmaker in midfield, Bradley, played really well in the first half when they were trying to get back in the match. They kept their heads. They looked good as a unit, and each man knew what he had to do. And none of those qualities were present in the England side. They had no midfield at all. They played a long ball game. I can't believe that Capello would play a long ball game with Heskey up front the way he did tonight against a team like the United States. Indeed, against any team. I can't believe that he put Wright Phillips on the pitch to play wide on the left. When he Joe Cole on the bench, I think he should have started Joe Cole, perhaps. But Capello is a coach with a great record, and it's an astonishing performance, an astonishingly inept performance by players who really are good players, but they haven't got defined roles. They have a critical problem in the middle of the field, and even Wayne Rooney looked ordinary tonight.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, I would have to agree with what the lads said. I think we've seen 5 matches so far, Bill, and that's being by far the worst match.
The worst performance.
And the worst match as well.
The worst match, and I think certainly one of the worst performances by England of any of the teams that we've watched so far. No cohesion. But again, if you go back to Bill, what we were saying to start the programme, it is very, very difficult to dominate teams and to play really well unless you could go right in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
it's just, I've never seen a team been able to do it, to actually play well, come off the field, because the midfield players are the only ones on the pitch that have the freedom to go where they like, to get the ball, to knit everything together. They're the only ones with that licence. Full-backs can't do it, wingers can't do it. So wingers, full-backs and everybody else on the team are actually dependent on the midfield players doing their stuff.
Yeah.
Now, as we saw again tonight with Lampard and Gerrard, they were nowhere to be seen in the middle of the field. There was no cohesion. So that was
a huge mistake.
Well, you can't do it. What we saw is what you're bound to get if you don't have players playing in the midfield in a creative fashion. Okay. Because everybody else is dependent on them to do their stuff. And if they don't do it, you don't get started.
Okay.
And Eamonn mentioned Bradley. They had a couple of average players in the middle of the field. But at least they were together.
They were together, yeah.
They were creating something, and they were more creative than England were.
Okay, can I put something to you, lads? Perhaps we're overestimating Capello. Because Cruyff said, England's success, he said, is impossible. Italian coaches in England are influencing football philosophy negatively. Ireland needs a great spectacle, but that is impossible, he said, under Capello as coach.
Well, he's been always a pragmatic coach, but he has, coached AC Milan when they won the Champions League, Bill. He coached Real Madrid, and I think style was an issue at Real Madrid. He was out the door despite winning La Liga. But there's something more fundamental than the style. There's the ineptitude of his analysis. The fact that Heskey played, the fact that Wright Phillips came on to play wide on the left, the fact that Joe Cole wasn't in the side. He could have taken Scott Parker, who John thinks, and I agree with John, is had a good season for West Ham and is a player who'll get the ball in midfield. He's not a real playmaker, but he's better. The most telling fact of all, in the 2 years plus he's been England coach, he hasn't solved or even grasped the problem that Lampard and Gerrard playing together presents.
Okay.
Now, courage is something you need as a player or as a coach. And as a coach, to break that partnership up and to leave one of them off the team, which I think is essential, would have been required. He's funked that task.
Yeah. But mind you, he had a terrific qualifying campaign. Is he damaged? Is Capello damaged by this performance and by this result?
No, but I think for the first time, people will be putting question marks against his way of handling the team. I mean, I cannot believe they've been that bad tonight. You know, the question mark about Gerrard and Lampard playing together. Looking at that tonight.
Well, no coach has succeeded. No, he must say it.
But that's not happened tonight. If you go back, okay, they had a good qualifying period, but in other games they don't dominate the ball. Against Mexico 2 weeks ago in a warm-up game at Wembley, they didn't dominate the ball. Right. Mexico had all the ball, so it was there for them. The writing's on the wall for them, and maybe he's realised that. This is me giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's realised that, and we can't play a possession game. We'll have to go a bit longer. We'll have to play to the old English strengths, which is what you saw tonight. Yeah, not good.
John?
Well, I think it's a reasonable theory for Graeme to say, well, we can't play in the middle of the field with Lampard and Gerrard, so therefore we have to do that. But I think the simple thing was don't pick them to play in the middle of the field. You know, if you go back, you could go back 4 years. They were no better tonight. In fact, they were as poor tonight as they were under Ericsson.
And he says they have immeasurably improved.
Well, they might have improved in the qualifying rounds, which they did because they won well. But the fundamental problem, if it is a fundamental problem, that the Lampard Gerrard thing will always be there.
Is Cruyff right? When he says that you will not get success.
Well, Ancelotti's just won the Premier League, and Chelsea scored and the cup, and they scored an awful lot of goals. I think it's wrong to stick it to Italian coaches.
I do.
I really do.
You do?
Yeah, Ancelotti's done it, and I don't think.
Yeah, but what they're saying is that the result is the only thing that matters.
Well,
to hell with the football.
Well, you can come in a moment. Let me just say.
Come on, you expound then.
You played in Italy, so you make the argument.
No, well, forget that was a long time ago, but look at Italian football today.
Yeah, look at Trapattoni.
Italian football today is all about let's not lose. Let's not lose. Let's not concede. Let's try and nick the game. Let's play. Inter Milan won the European Cup this year. You tell me Inter Milan were the best team in Europe this year.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're the best coach in Europe.
They were the best team.
They were the best team.
But
they weren't the most attractive team, but they were the best team. Because there's a balance between attack
what's the best team?
They were the best team.
Teams are teams who go and are effective and win.
Plays the best football. A team that picks the best results.
Graeme, I'm surprised you said it, because there's no such thing as the best football. There's more attractive football, but effective football is the only thing.
So you'll go along with the idea the result matters more than anything else.
You have to defend well.
That's
the bottom line, surely.
Look,
I think Cruyff's got an argument. Because I think Italian football is suffering, and don't take my word for it. Look at the crowds.
Hold on, look at the crowds. Just a moment. Italian football is suffering because it hasn't got the money to attract players or coaches that the Premier League has. Let me finish. It hasn't got the money that Barcelona, that Barcelona or Real Madrid has. Italian football has a resource issue, and therefore the best players aren't going there anymore. They're taking people like Senderos from Arsenal on a free transfer to Juventus. Let me finish.
I'm not saying
I can see. No. The point is this. It's Ancelotti went to Chelsea. They scored more goals than they ever scored before, and they won the league and the cup. So it's not Italian coaches; it's the players at your disposal. And England have some outstanding players. I'd be a bit embarrassed because I said they'd go a long way in the tournament and be a threat. That was my prediction. My faith I placed was in some of those players. I think they've got some world-class players. Just a minute. And Capello's capacity to solve this riddle. What do you do if you've Lampard and Gerrard available to you? Now, he hasn't even addressed it. And this is the point. At Liverpool, Steven Gerrard has a role, a responsibility. He knows what the role is, and he does it brilliantly. He's a match winner for Liverpool time after time in big matches. At Chelsea, Frank Lampard scored more goals this season and had a better season than he's ever had, and he's had some really good seasons. But there's a confusion of roles. Their roles overlap. So you've got to leave one of them out, in my opinion. And John is going to show us, and I think we should get to it as soon as we can. John's done a brilliant couple of pieces of analysis of how this partnership doesn't work and how you need a playmaker.
Well, if we can pull it up now, we'll pull it up now.
One final point about Inter Milan. The key to Mourinho, right, is he had Wesley Sneijder, a good playmaker in the middle of the field. He had an outstanding defence. And
I wouldn't describe Sneijder as a playmaker.
he is a playmaker.
No, he plays behind the front.
Is he a playmaker?
He plays just off the front.
He plays a bit more forward than I would like him to do, but he does initiate things, Graeme, better than Lampard or Gerrard.
And he can pick out a killing pass.
It's a whole different argument with them two. The basic problem you got with Gerrard and Lampard, they want to be getting on the end of things. They want to be scoring the goal.
Running away from the ball.
To simplify it, they want to be getting on the end of things to score the goals. And the track record suggests they do that well. Yeah. They don't want to get involved in the build-up.
OK, John, you've picked out examples.
But I have to come on.
OK, hang on a second.
I don't think it's that they don't want to get involved.